Good afternoon, Kemini. And as you're aware, the much anticipated vice presidential debate is coming off in Takoradi later tonight.
We're making some history again.
Definitely. And so we are hours to the vice presidential candidates debate in Takoradi. And what we'll do is we'll be touching up base with the various camps of the political parties on the preparations being made by the vice presidential candidates. This is your election headquarters on multi-TV, also on radio, on Joy 99.7 FM. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, good afternoon. You're live from the Multi-TV studios and also live on Joy 99.7 Radio. Together, we are your election headquarters. Well, you're live here on Joy 99.7 FM. In a matter of hours, millions will be glued to their television sets and radio sets, keenly following that radio vice presidential debate. The debate will see the candidates, the running mates of the CPP, the PNC, the NDC, and the PNC, also debating the issues from the economy to education in the Western Regional Capital, Takoradi. The excitement has reached fever pitch, and in the midst of it all is our own Gifty Ando-Appiah, who joins us live now. Thank you very much, Gifty. I can imagine the mood in Takoradi right now is one of excitement and anticipation. Is that the case?
Well, Araba, I won't say the mood here is exciting. It's exciting. Well, at least not politically exciting. I don't know. There was a heavy downpour this dawn, and I don't know if that was the reason why town was calm. But in town, it was calm. It was very business as usual. People were going about their businesses. Indeed, some of them did not even know of the IEA vice presidential debate that's going on here. But I have with me here a lecturer, a senior lecturer from the School of Applied Arts in Takoradi Polytechnic, and he will be able to try and explain to us this trend. So tell me, Mr. Kwe, the atmosphere in town is quite calm as compared to what we had in Tamale, where you had a lot of people going around, political party followers going around. How do we explain this trend?
Typically, well, first of all, I must commend the IEA for a good job well done. I like the organization and everything I'm seeing. Well, Takoradi is typically a very quiet and cool place, and even when people mean business, they are very relaxed. I think that's accounting for the low startup in town this morning. Of course, also the rain also I think had a role to play in all this. But I believe things will pick up getting to late afternoon.
Right. Well, did you have a feel of the Tamale atmosphere?
Very much so. I think it was all over in the news, and people were talking about it, probably because it was the presidential. But the feeling is a little bit lower here. But I know it's going to pick up getting to in the evening when the program will really start.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kwe. So Mr. Kwe tells us that the reason it may be the rain, it may not be the rain, but usually Takoradi is calm. So Araba.
We also know that you've been interacting with some of the residents and engaging their mood, really. What have they been telling you?
Well, I've been talking to some of the people here on their expectations, and most of them have been talking about employment, creating employment. That is what they expect the vice presidential candidates, as they meet today, to talk about. They are excited that we have two economists who are going to be talking, because they're also interested in discussions on the economy. For the people here, the oil money is quite they're quite passionate about the oil production and the fact that it should help the economy improve. So they're expecting that they will talk about the economy in relation to what they describe as an equitable distribution of the oil money over here. They've also been talking about healthcare. They've also been talking about education. But indeed, employment and distribution of the oil funds is is an issue that they are quite passionate about.
What does it mean to you?
Well, I think it's in the right direction, and it also helps us to know who and who we are looking out for.
Don't you know who you're looking out for already?
As for now, I haven't decided yet. So as when times pass by, we'll know who will be the right choice for me. Well, I want them to talk about the economy because I believe the economy has become a talk of the town for now. So, and we are very privileged to have two people who have.
I've heard about the IEA presidential debate.
Okay, so what do you expect the vice presidential candidates to say?
I want them to talk about the school, free education, like helping the country to move forward, bringing out the poor people. Sorry, we need improvements.
In terms of what?
Like about building school here, hospitals, because sometimes we lack hospitals.
I want the debate to go on with the issues about how the oil money is going to be used, and then how the children in Ghana is going to be, to get their free education. That's what I
And you're still on election headquarters here on Multi TV and Joy 99.7 FM. Now, we do apologize for the delay there. It's due to some technical hitches, but do bear with us. So, Gifty, if you're still there, have you been to the venue of tonight's debate? And is everything set?
Yes, Araba. As I speak with you now, I am at the venue. I am at the venue of the debate. Everything is set here. The format, indeed, the format of the setup here is very similar to what we had in Tamale. But with me is someone who can better give us details, and I'm going to have him talk to us now. He is the media coordinator for the IEA. He is not here with me yet, but for those of you on TV, if you can see, we have the four podiums set up for the four vice presidential candidates. We have seats that are arranged here that are very similar, and I expect to take a few hundreds of people tagged with the names of the political parties: NPP, NDC, CPP, and of course the PNC. There is an area upstairs over here, but that is not being used, but that has been left for the media. We have our timer set up here already. And indeed, we have the security operatives going about their businesses. They're going to move all of us out of here very soon because everything is set up and they have to get ready to take off.
Thank you very much, and that's Gifty Apiando bringing us that live update from Takoradi, the venue of tonight's IEA presidential debate, vice presidential debate, that is. Let's get a quick word from the PNC. I'm joined on the line by Bernard Mona. He's the party's general secretary. Thank you very much for your time, Bernard. I know you're already in Takoradi. How is your candidate taking the fact that she's coming up against two men from the two main political parties, and also she has to deal with her fellow woman from the CPP?
Oh, she is very well composed. We just going back to meet, probably have lunch this afternoon, and then she's just taking a relaxed day. She knows that today is a day to tell the people of Ghana the story of their own life, and then take it on board for the people of Ghana to listen. More importantly, what he's going to do will not be a significant departure from what the party manifesto has contained. So we're going to look at the economy, the way the PNC manifesto thinks about it. We're going to look at the health. We are going to look about employment. We are going to look at the use of energy. And of course, we are in the oil city, so we'll be looking at the use of oil and gas. More importantly, she is a woman, and issues of gender will come up, and we'll be looking at the feminization of poverty in our society and what can be done to address them. Knowing her, she is a teacher who taught the university before, and so she will be ready and strong for questions that will be thrown by those who will be hosting the program.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Bernard, but we've heard very little from your candidate. In fact, very little is said of her, really. But what is she conversant with the issues, the economy? They're going to be talking about the social and private sectors, industrialization. We haven't heard her speak on those issues. Is she confident that she can deliver tonight?
Oh, I think she is very relaxed. She says that one of her daily activities is not under any pressure or mentally. You can see that she's looking well. She knows that many people will underrate her. She's not concerned about what is interested in is to put the case forcefully as contained in the PNC manifesto. And she's going to do exactly that. As to whether you heard of him or her or not, that is not going to determine whether she can do it or not. I mean, there are many people in class that is not heard of, and yet they come out at the excellent end. Today is her day, and I can tell you that she is well poised. She is determined to take the issues the way they come, and she will complement fully the effort of the Black Bearer when the Black Bearer met the IEA just about the week ago.
All right, many thanks. Bernard Mona is the General Secretary of the People's National Convention. We have on the line now Mustafa Hameed. He is spokesperson for Nana Akufo-Addo. He's also been working closely with Dr. Bawumia. Thank you very much for your time, Mustafa. How seriously is Dr. Bawumia taking tonight's debate? And what has been the what has he been doing really to prepare for it?
Well, good afternoon to your listeners. He's taking it very seriously. For the past 3 days, we've been around here in the Western region, just so he can have some quiet and then revise his notes. So what I can say is that up to this point, we are ready for tonight.
Now, a major criticism that Nana Akufo-Addo received at the last presidential debate, was that he was too short on figures, specifics and statistics, and as a result he allowed the president to rebut more effectively using figures. Is Dr. Bawumia approaching today's debate any differently?
Well, I don't know about the criticisms that you say people made of Nanado, but the point is that both Nanado and Bawumia come to these debates prepared to answer the specific questions that are put to them. You know, these debates are not like campaign platforms where you have the latitude of saying what you want to say to the electorate, you know, and at your own terms. This one, there are specific questions that are being put to you, and therefore sometimes you are constrained to answer specifically to those questions, and then thereby sometimes you are you leave out some of the things that you would have loved to see. So to that extent, what I would say is that Dr. Bawumia, in line with that policy, would try as much as possible to answer the questions that are put to him within the short time that is available to him. If those questions require that he gives figures to make his point, of course he would, because he's also a figures person, as you know.
Right, and finally, what do you say to those who suggest that tonight's debate bears little or no significance, because really the campaign is fundamentally about the presidential candidate and the vice can only articulate the position of his boss?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because yes, indeed, the campaigns are for the presidential candidates and the visions are theirs. But no, also because a vice presidential candidate, or for that matter, a vice president, is also potentially a president. And indeed, what is happening with President Mahama should tell us that, indeed, if we are looking for a vice presidential candidate, we should look for somebody who, under some eventuality, can become president. So to that extent, it is important that we also expose our vice presidential candidates to the public, scrutinize them, see their readiness for office and so on, know that they are conversant with the issues. So that is what it will do. I mean, it may not bring you votes or change people's minds at this time, but at least it will let people assess them and know that in the event that the presidents are unable to perform, that there are people who can rightly step into their shoes and then continue with the governance process.
Thank you very much. Mustafa Hameed is aide to NPP presidential candidate Nana Akufo-Addo. I'm now joined in the studio by Ernest Afram. He speaks for the vice presidential candidate of the CPP, and he's a parliamentary candidate himself. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now, how prepared is your candidate for tonight's event?
Oh, Araba, our candidate has been prepared all the time since. She's very ready for it. And like we saw with the presidential debate, the CPP she's going to come out and project the CPP's manifesto and what we want to, the change and the difference we want to bring in our body politics here. I believe this debate is going to be more about, is going to be a very clear contrast between the humanist and the theorist. We have the two economic planners on one side and female presidential candidates on the other side. And if you take the CPP parliamentary vice presidential candidate, she comes up with, comes to the table with a lot of achievements in caring for children, and she currently actually cares for 147 children whom she mentors and pays their fees and everything.
There's no doubt about that, but the point is that there are going to be tough questions asked of these candidates, because they should be able to know how to handle the economy when it comes to the time for them to do so. In the case of, as Mustafa Hameed referred to, the president sitting in for, the vice president sitting in for the president. Can your candidate handle such a task?
There is no doubt about that. I mean, in the first place, we've always touted the fact that our mothers have always been the backbone of the family. So if you're looking for someone who is going to serve as the backbone for a presidency, no, I mean, your best choice will be a woman. Because behind every successful man, like we always say, there is a woman. And that actually tells you the differences we have between the presidential candidates, the tickets we have for the two major political parties and the CPP ticket. Because we have a strong woman behind Dr. Abu Sakara, and that reflects in how Dr. Abu Sakara's rating has been going up since his debate. And then secondly, when it comes to her ability to handle economic issues, it is not, we do not believe that handling an economy should all be about numbers and figures. Look at where numbers and figures have gotten us. We're talking about a single-digit inflation, but prices are way up in the sky. Interest rates are skyrocketing, and the cost of living is high. Meanwhile, at the same time, in these difficult circumstances, our mothers in the market have been able to put bread and butter on their table for their children, feed their children, clothe their children, take them to school. And that is the kind of change the CPP is bringing. So tonight, we'll just say, let's all sit back and watch what the CPP vice presidential candidate has to offer. She is going to bring something very refreshing. She's going to deal with the real issues that affect the people of Ghana. and not the numbers and the figures. This is what, I mean, what the people of Ghana want. We want someone who cares about people, not people who care about numbers.
Very well. Thank you very much. And that was Ernest Afram. He speaks for the vice presidential candidate of the CPP. Let me also point out that we did try to get in touch with the handlers of the NDC presidential candidate, that's Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur, without success. Now, let's closely scrutinize the relevance of the vice presidential debate. I'm joined on the line now by political science lecturer with the University of Ghana, Dr. Bosman Asari. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Now, is this debate really relevant? After all, the vice president only plays second fiddle to the presidential candidate and can only articulate his boss's position, which we already know.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your listeners. The debate is very important, and one thing we must understand is that although the vice president is supposed to articulate the policy positions of their flag bearers, in contemporary times, that view has changed. Now people are looking for a vice president who is also going to be an addition, who is going to bring some unique credentials, unique qualities to the governance of the country. So Ghanaians really will want to see among all these four people who is going to be an effective leader if the need arises. But one of the things which is also very important is that a vice president must always be ready to be a president. And we have seen it in Ghana recently. So we want to make sure that they are not only going to articulate the policy views of their president, but what unique things are they bringing on board. And I believe that some people are going to vote based on who your vice president is.
Now, tonight there will be 4 candidates on the stage. But really, it's 2 women and 2 men. But really, isn't it a battle between the MPP candidate and the NDC vice presidential candidate?
Yeah, certainly that is true. But we've got to understand that Ghana is a multi-party system. There are many who believe that there are about 6 or 7 parties that are still very considered relevant. So as long as we operate a multi-party political system, I think for us to say it's just between the MPP and NDC, then we are doing a disservice to our country. Ghanaians will want to know what the other parties they stand for. The CPP has been in government before, just like the PNC. So we want to know what unique things are they bringing on board. So although the NDC and the MPP are clearly the front runners in this election, it's still very important for us to consider the other parties. So let's be very frank, we can have a second round. And when there's a second round, these minor political parties become the kingmakers. So I think we shouldn't be talking about only the NDC and the MPP. And for the fact that the PNC and the CPP, I believe they are bringing women on board, that should tell us that they are very ready, and if they get the chance, they are ready to govern our country for us.
Hold on for me, Dr. Bosman Asare, because I want to put that same question to Mr. Afram of the CPP. Tell me, the suggestions that this debate really is between the NDC vice presidential candidate and the MPP vice presidential candidate. You agree?
Oh, I totally disagree with that in the sense that if you think about it carefully, this is the first time that we have actually putting forward 2 female vice presidential candidates on TV. And these are, I mean, it's a new approach. It's something fresh. In fact, this year, we should give ourselves credit. Ghana has has set the bar high for West Africa. We've had a smooth transfer of power from sitting when our president passed to the vice president. We've installed a new gotten a new vice president, and we have actually put 2 new vice presidents, nominated 2 female vice presidents. I believe a lot of women, our mothers, who are the backbone of the communities, would actually be looking out for what the female vice presidential candidates have to offer today. So I think, yes, people would also be watching the battle between the NPP and the NDC, but that is just people will be watching for the old recycled ideas they have and the numbers they talk about. But I believe most of the focus will be on how the 2 female vice presidential candidates will perform.
All right. Okay, let's go back to the line. Dr. Bosman Asari, what will this debate, how will it impact on people's voting decision? I mean, how is it going to impact on people's voting decisions?
Yeah, I certainly think that it will. Well, let's look at the NPP's vice presidential candidate and that of the NDC, even for instance. Both of them have been at the forefront when it comes to economic management. So Ghanaians will really want to see whose ideas are very practical, because they are working and they are going to work under people who are not really on top when it comes to pure economic management. So we really want to know. Mr. Atta has been telling us, oh, I've been doing this and that. They want to know what practical ideas is he bringing on board. People are talking about the economic situation being too hard. Living standards have become very difficult. So people really want to know what practical ideas are they bringing on board.
Very well. Dr. Bosman Asare,
been doing a lot.
Sorry to interrupt you. Dr. Bosman Asare, sorry to interrupt you, but we're running out of time. My final question to you, and I want to put you on the spot here. Who do you think will emerge with the advantage tonight?
No, I think I expect all the 4 candidates to do very well. And when you look at their background, they appear to have done a lot. So I don't think we should expect any surprises. But usually, Dr. Baumia and Mr. Atta should be seen as the front runners, and they should also be seen as the top performers in this particular debate.
Thank you very much. And that was Dr. Bosman Asare. He's a political science lecturer with the University of Ghana. I was also joined in the studio by Ernest Afram. He speaks for the vice presidential candidate of the CPP. That's your election headquarters for today. My name is Arba Kumson. The program was live on TV on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, also live on radio on Joy 99.7 FM, online at majoyonline.com. It also came to you live on Love FM in Kumasi. The program is brought to you by Infobox Mobile Services. Text election to 1922 and also Star Ghana. I'm Arba Kumson.